Ce lundi matin, sur les pontons de Lorient-la-Base, c'était l'heure des dernières embrassades. Et avec des conditions météo pas si simples à appréhender, les skippers font l'état des lieux.
Le vent va être vachement instable et il va falloir se frayer un chemin entre ces molles et ces risées et c'est assez piégeux.
De la pluie, du tonique, des bascules, des fronts, un front, deux fronts, peut-être trois fronts parce qu'apparemment cette dépression-là est assez compliquée.
À 10h30, dans 20 nœuds de vent et une mer houleuse, les 6 trimarans de la classe Ocean50 ont pris le large. Devant leurs étraves, 4200 milles nautiques, soit plus de 7700 km, avec en marque de parcours un waypoint au Cap-Vert. 15 minutes plus tard, au tour des Class40 de s'élancer pour une reprise de course tonique en direction du Cap Finistère. Après avoir dépassé la péninsule ibérique, les monocoques devront contourner l'île de Porto Santo près de Madère et le jeu sera bien ouvert sur l'Atlantique.
C'est tout ce quel point on vise, mais on va peut-être mettre des routes différentes pour y arriver, quoi.
À nous de faire qu'on se batte comme des chiens et qu'on lâche rien pendant 15 ou 16 jours.
Avant d'arriver en Martinique, les classes 40 vont devoir laisser plus de 3745 milles nautiques dans leur sillage, soit près de 7000 km. Du côté des ultimes, c'est route vers l'île de l'Ascension.
Entre l'eau et l'air ce matin dans l'Atlantique Sud, tout va bien, ça vole et on fait du prêt, le bateau marche bien.
Au classement de 14 heures, le point sur les leaders de chaque classe. En classe 40, le duo Axel Tréhin et Gwenaël Rioux sur Project Rescue Océan. Ce leader en peloton avec à son bord Thibaut Vauchel-Camus et Quentin Vlaminck en Ocean50. Chez les ultimes, le Maxi Banque Populaire 11 voit son avance fondre, mais garde la tête de la flotte.
The Class40 and Ocean 50 are back in full race mode after their return to the race course start in Lorient. Some 8 days after the initial start from Le Havre week passed on Sunday, the 46 duos aboard their Class40 and Ocean 50 multihulls returned to the Transat Jacques Vabre race course from Lorient this Monday morning heading for Martinique. The pairs set off in fairly typical late autumn weather with 2.5-metre high waves and a 20-knot west-southwesterly wind. The breeze was peppered with many squalls to deal with, some bringing in heavy rain and gusts of 35 to 40 knots. So conditions were very much as might be expected at the start of the coffee race. The fleets of 6 trimarans and 40 monohulls, which crossed their lines at 10:30 and 10:45 hours local time, respectively, are going to find it very hard work to get to the trade winds. There was a damp, early start for those who took to the pontoons to bid farewell to their crews. It was a bitter moment for the French co-skippers of Decupel, William Mathelin Moreau and Pietro Luciani, who confirmed they would not be racing on after being unable to repair in time the damage they suffered in the first leg. They could not hide their emotions. On the water, conditions were immediately tough and physical, as forecast, with a low pressure coming in sharply. At 10:30 hours, the Ocean50 multihulls got underway with Viabilis Ocean, Quiroga Trussart, the first to cross the start line. A quarter of an hour later, it was time for the Class40 monohulls to get back into the race via a course that will take them past Porto Santo in Madeira. The wind eased off to 15 knots, but a huge squall on the horizon came blasting through. At the gun, Ibsa, Bonacentur del Arco, Café Joyeux, Diastais DBS, Project Rescue Ocean, Trehinriu, and Eden Red, Le Roquebugnon, to the left of the start line, got off to a good start. At the clearance buoy, Cifrago Sugestron, Chateau Piruel, back in the race after a commando mission to repair their boat that was holed after Sundays, proved quick off the mark, no doubt buoyed by pent-up energy and desire after their stressful week, which saw them truck the boat to Lorient for the composite repair. At the mark it was the Normandie duo, Cédric Chateau and Guillaume Piruel, who led the way ahead of Interinvest, Perrault Bloch, Le Gallet, Delahaye Duguay, and La Manche Evidence Nautique, Jossie Loizen. Ahead for this compact fleet, there are likely to be 48 hours of rough conditions and strategic choices. The skippers will be attempting to look after their boats, while not hanging around, in order to make their way out of the Bay of Biscay and pass Cape Finisterre. This is where skill is required, as it is easier said than done, particularly when sailing upwind in this first part, before they can look forward to the promise of some downwind sailing. The Irish-French duo Pam Lee, and Typhane Ragueneau, ENG DFDS Brittany ferries, had to make a rapid return to port to repair their J1 headsail, but had finally returned to the race course 2 to 3 hours later. Erwin Leroux, Coesio, Ocean50, the initial start was last Sunday in Le Havre and was magnificent in the strong winds. Now it's time for the second leg to start. We are in the same mindset as last week and aiming to do well. We will try to find a good trajectory on the race course, which is a bit technical for the first few days. There are a lot of areas of light winds, gusts and very unstable winds. We are going to have to find our way through all that. There are a lot of traps. We are going to have to remain focused and vigilant, but we must not hang around, as we need to avoid another low-pressure system that will be reaching Cape Finisterre tomorrow evening. Ambrogio Beccaria and Nicolas Andrieu, alla Grande Pirelli, Class 40, we are pleased to be able to set sail, but it will be in strong winds and upwind for the first 2.5 days. We are going to have to remain alert, but we sailed well in the first leg. We are going to try to keep up the pace, as we have to get the timing right. We are tackling this second leg, just as we did at the start of the race a week ago, even if now there is no longer the problem of currents and rocks we had to avoid off the coast of North Brittany. Apart from that, we still have everything to do. It is up to us to fight hard and keep at it for 15 to 16 days. Erwin Ledrowlek, Iverial, Class 40, a rainy start, but a happy one, simply because we are pleased to be able to set off. We'll be sailing upwind for the first 24 to 48 hours in rough conditions, but nowhere near as bad as those we had in the English Channel. But things keep changing in the sky and there are a lot of squalls. It's not going to be as simple as that. We are setting off on a long stretch on the starboard tack, making our way towards Cape Finisterre. The difficulties will begin right from the start. On Wednesday, we are going to have to cross a front. It is quite active, but we'll be close to the center. We don't know how it will go and what we will need to do. Tibor Vorchel-Camus, Solid Iris EN Peloton, Ocean50, we are still in November in the North Atlantic, but we can't wait to set off. We are tackling this second leg like a medal race, as this is the one that really counts. We have 24 hours to get out of the Bay of Biscay, and to remind ourselves that this is the start of the Transat Jacques Vabre, even if we are setting off again. It's not going to be as tough as the first leg, but there may be more real racing, even if we got an example of that in the first leg. Our current lead is just a slight advantage that may be useful, if things get complicated at the finish. But it is not that small lead that means we are in a comfortable position, as there are 12 days of sailing ahead of us. Ashel Nebaut and Gildas Mahi, Amaris, Class 40, we are expecting some fairly strong squalls in the first 48 hours. During the first night, we should see a first low-pressure system, but it isn't that violent, even if there is some uncertainty, and that may give us some tactical opportunities. More importantly, on the second night, there will be a front to deal with off Cape Finisterre, and it looks like it's going to be tough. Once we have got over those two difficulties, we will be able to head south to pick up some winds offering downwind sailing and some more warmth. We all know the point we are aiming for, but we may take different routes to get there.